2, 1. From Boston, Massachusetts to Adelaide, Australia, and everywhere in between. Talking local and national sports and just about anything discussed in a tavern. Broadcasting from South Lyon, Michigan. Welcome to Easy Speak at Speakeasy 330 with your hosts, Rich and Tom.
We are back. It's Sunday night in the Speakeasy. Richard, Jasper, how you doing?
Doing all right. Back hurts a little bit.
Somebody tried to be Superman on Friday night and didn't ask a certain individual's help.
It wasn't the dryer on Friday night. It was moving the washing machine over this morning. What it was.
Okay.
Yeah, the dryer's light as hell. I could probably carry that outside on my back.
Again, you didn't request the help of me, because I'm right next door. You've been really easy for you to pick up the phone and say, hey, give me a hand here.
I didn't know if you were taking a bath or not.
Well, unfortunately, I was not this morning. But before we get started, we have a special birthday to announce tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow.
Big day.
My better half, Miss Christina, it is her birthday.
She's 45 now?
I won't divulge the age because I apparently that's frowned upon.
Well, two things you never ask women is their weight and their age. Those are the two things unless you're in a serious relationship. But we don't need to go there.
So we want to wish Christina a happy birthday tomorrow, and hopefully somebody comes with an ice cream cake. That was only a request. So we'll see how that goes.
Why do you give that up? You're like, well, maybe. Am I privy to this ice cream cake tomorrow too? Or?
If the ice cream cake happens, your presence is required. So
it's required.
It's required.
Gotcha.
So, but folks,
I swear I'm deaf because I think this is probably like the fourth time I've had to turn my headphones up. It's cranked up.
I mean, unless I'm being very quiet. But anyways,
you're probably being a little quiet.
Yeah. So it finally happened after a 2-series homestand, and then the third game in Toronto, Mr. Miguel Cabrera hits number 500.
Yeah, number 500. And it's kind of disheartening that no fan was able to get that ball because it went into like the little area between the bullpen and the stands.
Yeah, I guess one of the guys in the bullpen ran and was able to get it. So,
well, I tell you right now, if one guy got that baseball, he wasn't giving it back. The guy by the name of Swingle.
Oh, Swingle would hold that ball hostage. No question about it.
He'd want a hefty ransom for that ball. And he pretty much said, you pay, no ball.
Yes. And that was what they talked about last week going into the series. Like, what are the teams willing to pay? And they immediately said that the Tigers and Cabrera were not going to be paying for it. But you might as well, because the items that they were going to be giving up for the ball, you could have made a mint for, but didn't happen. So
quick question to ask you, since finally at the 500 milestone, I'm looking at the computer here, but 500 milestone, he's got about 40,
it's like 29, 54, 55 ish.
Yeah. So he's got about 45 more hits.
Yeah.
He's got a head at 3,000. Do you think that there was any chance even before that he was not going to make it in the Hall of Fame?
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah,
easier thing to swallow.
I think it seals it, undoubtedly seals his placement in Cooperstown.
Yeah.
But because you look at it, you go around the league and who's gonna hit 500 home runs again? Who's gonna get 3,000 hits? I mean, you're looking at Trout has 310. I think I heard today that the most overrated player in baseball, your Jacob's buddy Harper, is at like
overrated.
I can't stand him. He's at like 250, but I mean, Miggy might be the last player we see in a long time to hit 500, and that's in this day and age, the way pitching is, and just the way that hitting is kind of disappeared in a lot with a lot of teams. So for him to get that 500 is a big relief. And now I speculate he's going to go on a run now that
the pressure's off.
Yeah, I
No
really,
pressure.
no pressure, and
it's fair to say.
Yeah, I see him going on a nice little run, but I will have to say, and AJ Hinch brought this up in the post game, class move by the fans of Toronto. They gave him a standing ovation. That was really cool to see. The Blue Jays allowing them to him to tip his cap. He came up for a curtain call, and it was just a cool moment. I mean, it's history, and glad it's over. And unfortunately, we both went to 2 games hoping to see it, and not so fast.
Yeah, I think I spent more money in the last 2 weeks. While we went to a game when they played against Cleveland, then we went to the Angels, and of course we had to go Wednesday when Shohei was pitching, and that guy can absolutely blow the stitches off a ball.
He is something to see. For him to go 8 complete. I mean, why he didn't come out for the 9th, I'm not sure. I mean, his pitch count was, I don't even think it was at 90 at that point. But the bomb he hit in the 7th inning, I have never heard the crack of the bat like that ever. I've been to a lot of baseball games. I've seen a lot of home runs. I have never heard a sound like that.
And it was funny is, we were fortunate enough to get tickets in right field, and that happened to go one section over from us, same amount of rows back, because we got in right field. We're like, well, you know what? If Miggy's going to hit one over here, he's got to get a hold of it.
Mm-hmm.
So we were one over from where Ohtani hit his at, and dude, it was a bomb. It was like 400.
They said 430, but
no, it had to be closer to 440, easy.
It ended up right underneath the Comerica Bank sign out there on that facade. But just the guy is, and we were to your boys about what we're watching, the type of player, and everybody says, well, it hasn't been done since Babe Ruth. I mean, and for him to start and lead off, like this was his 10th home run during a start of his, which is amazing too. And, and then he gets a stolen base. The guy is so unbelievably talented. I don't think anybody knows what the ceiling is. He just continues to get better and better. He had his 40th home run. The guy is just unbelievable to watch. And there was no way I wanted to miss that game. And, Christina surprised me with tickets, which I was floored about, and being able to witness him live. And there's certain players like, Michael Jordan, to see him play, and Ken Griffey Jr. to see him play live. I mean, there's legends that, you always want to say, I got to see him play live. And so that was a really cool moment.
So do you think that the way that his play has been this year so far, the season's coming pretty close to a close. September call-ups are going to come in. I think he's the front runner for the AL MVP for sure. I think I don't know if I would put him as going to get a Cy Young, but he's going to be in talk. He's going to be in discussions.
He's going to be top 5, no question. He's 10-2, so I don't think he has the right amount of starts, because 10-2 going into the end of August, that seems a little bit low. I don't know if he missed some starts, but his ERA is under 3 points or 2.7. His strikeouts are up there with one of the league's best, and you flip the switch and you see he's 40 home runs. He's got over 90 RBIs. If he can kick his batting average up a little bit, maybe 10, 15 points to get it closer to 300, no question, he's the MVP. But in my opinion, I think he deserves it on the simple fact that he is a dominating pitcher, and he's doing things, at the plate that, we've never seen. So,
and I think he's probably going to hit 50 home runs this year. I think he's going to hit 50, maybe a little bit more than 50. But
you figure we got a month and a half of season left.
And I expect him to come back next year and do pretty much the exact same, as long as he stays healthy.
Yeah,
as long as he's staying healthy, he's going to be he's definitely going to be a force, and it's going to be interesting to see how how the Angels manage it, from a money standpoint, because they got some players and they got some money wrapped into some players.
Trout, Rendon, and he's going to come up at some point. And so the fact that they don't have a salary cap helps them. They've got a good team. They came in here and they swept the Tigers. That was very disappointing to see. But I mean, the Angels have a good team. They've got a very well-balanced team. They remind me a lot of, another Joe Madden coached team at one point, the Rays, when Madden was coaching there. I mean, he just fundamentally knows how to coach, and he teaches these players, the insides and outs that a lot of teams don't have. And I not going to make a big push for the wild card. They're in the hunt, which is a big step of improvement than they have been in the past couple of years. But I do see them there too. They can make some noise in that and AOS.
Yeah. So talk about John Madden. I mean, we're not going to beat a dead horse on this topic. Joe Madden. Yeah, John Madden. The Duckling. Yeah. Sorry, but no. I what do you think what do you think makes him different than, like, okay, so him and Rod Gardenhire were the same. They were both dominant. I'm not going to say dominant, but they were very good, productive coaches when Gardenhire was in Minnesota and when he
players,
and then when he was in Tampa Bay. Young players, right. Small markets, not big salary caps, not the big flashy players.
Right.
Like, okay, Torrey Hunter, but he left and
it was on the back end of his career.
Yeah.
Leadership role at that point.
So what's the difference between what makes him so much more successful than Rod Gardenhire, you think?
I think it's his ability to relate with players. I do feel like he's the type of guy where he goes to the hotel bar after the games and he has a beer with the players. He's got a calm approach. You rarely ever see him get real fiery in the dugout with his players. He will with the umpires for sure, but he just has a knack of just understanding the players. And I think they want to go to war for him, which, I'm hoping that players here in Detroit with Dan Campbell do, and AJ Hinch well, but they love him so much. And just the fact that, they want to win for him and he gets results. He got results in Chicago and although they were loaded, but no, I just think he has a knack of really understanding and feeling like one of the guys, and the players really appreciate that.
Yep. A fair statement. What we got next?
Talking about the Tigers going into this weekend series, which was nice to see them come out, especially today after Miggy's get his fifth 500.
That was now it's funny because everybody will say, when you see something like that,
you want to have a milestone associated.
People don't really remember the milestone. They remember the milestone. They don't remember how the game ended. Yeah,
going into the ninth, down by a run, and a player that I have been very vocal about, who has come back. He was sent down, has come back up, and he may be leading this team. Willie Castro, who as well, I have been a very big opponent of, because of the hype machine was huge with him coming into this season. He has been tearing the shit out of the ball, and he comes up huge, 2 outs in the ninth, big 2-out double, and he ends up scoring a run, and he gets a huge hit in the 10th for them to go up. Part of it going up by 2. So that was really, really a more of a statement series for the Tigers, letting people know that. I mean, especially the fans. We're not going to just lay down. Yeah, it sucked. They went 1 in 5 in that homestand. It's terrible. In a place, I mean, Comerica has been really good for them this year, but them to come out, and especially they blew that 8-run lead. Thursday, and then they come the very next night, go to Toronto, which, I mean, that's been a house of horrors for the Tigers in previous years. And they extra innings, they put up 3.
Yeah,
and
2 games extra innings.
All 3 of them in the extra innings. So,
but they had 2 wins out of the extra innings.
Yep. So that was really a big statement for me, let me know as a fan. I'm sure everybody else that they're still going to fight. They're not going to just lay down to teams. But the bullpen, which was a strong suit coming into this series, they
all right. So, dude, what gives? Why do we put Soto out? I mean, yeah, he throws gas, but oh my God, the last couple outings, man, he's been absolutely garbage.
He looked good today, and he pitched 2 innings today. He looked good Friday. When they put him in for a non-save situation, I immediately looked at you and I said, "This game's over." That was against the Angels.
Yeah,
I said, "This game's over," because a closer needs to be in a closing situation. You can't put a closer in. And two things: I'm against putting a closer in the 8th inning, and against putting a closer in when there's not a save on the line.
It's not a save situation.
So, and he got 2 quick outs, and then I don't know what happened. Loaded the bases, and then Joe Adele hits his first career home run.
Yeah, and it happened to be a grand slam.
And then there was another. I mean, that was about as bad of a 9th inning as we've seen. That was the first game against the Angels. But so the one thing that's been consistent for them has, the last few games has been a little bit rocky, is the bullpen coming in to the series against the Angels. They were the second best ERA as a bullpen, as a team, since the All-Star break, and it shows. They've been winning, but that kind of, they had the bump in the road with Holland and Soto and rosacea face Kyle Funkhauser, and so
why you got to make fun of that?
Well, look at that guy. He's either got really bad nerves or really high blood pressure, because
my face is fucking beet red right now, and you're sitting here making fun of me.
That might be from the sun. That's not.
Dude, that ain't from the sun. That's called. I'm sitting here sweating my balls off.
Well, it is hot. It hit about 93 here in Michigan. I spent the afternoon on the lake, so I was sweating profusely, we'll say. But all
right, so I can't talk about these Tigers anymore.
You don't want to talk about the big, the one step closer, the big 2, Torkelson, Riley Green. One step closer to the bigs. Good thing.
Okay, that's probably a little bit of my excitement when it comes to Tigers right now. It really is, because just amazing. I think in a couple years, as long as they stay healthy and as long as they keep progressing and doing what they're doing,
I think we see Riley Green, no question, next year here.
Technically, my personal opinion, should have been here this year.
I agree. Torkelson depends on how he finishes the last month. Now, Toledo's in the first place in their division.
Now hear this.
So there's going to be some very competitive, meaningful baseball. So if he proves that he can get production in high pressure situations, you might see Nicholson here. Now the next question would be, do you flip Candyman over to first base? What are you going to do with him? Or does he become a trade chip? Yeah.
No, I would probably say move him over to first base. I mean, he played a little bit there already.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have Scopes stay at second base.
Or does Torkelson start off at first base? A little less.
But they drafted him, and they came out and said right at the draft, you're going to be a third baseman.
Yeah.
And that's where they see him at. So
interesting. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
It's a nice problem to have, because Candelario, Scope, they got to solve the shortstop dilemma, but I do believe that will be addressed in the offseason. So good things happening. Looking forward to the next year or two here in Detroit as far as the young talent goes.
And we were just talking about a guy who said that can just do about everything, steal bases, hit bombs, everything like that, and just swipe the bag.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was got 21 stolen bases. He's only been caught 5 or 6 times. He's amazing.
Guys,
he's sick. He is sick.
All right. So the Pontiac Pussycats.
Yeah. Not much to write home
I know it's preseason.
Yeah.
Okay. I know it's preseason. And I'm not expecting a lot this year, but I
hope I
expect more this year than what I saw last night's game. However, none of the big starters played.
Nobody.
None of the big players started.
Which you see that as a problem as far as getting game speed. You hear well, you can practice, but the game speed's a little bit different. Does that worry you specifically for golf? Because golf's not going to take a snap in this preseason. It's evident. Your big running backs haven't played. Hawkinson, I'm not worried about Hawkinson. He's a talent. He's young and he's gonna get his numbers. But specifically Goff and some of those running backs that aren't gonna play in this preseason, does that worry you? Because they hit the ground. San Francisco, their schedule is pretty brutal right off the rip. And if you haven't taken a snap, in the preseason, for the sake of injury wise, it's a good thing. But if you haven't had that competitive drive yet going into your first game against San Francisco, who's, if they stay healthy, if Jimmy G stays healthy, stays out of those porn stars hotel rooms, they're going to be really good. They're going to be competing for the West. So is that a good thing or a bad thing that they haven't played?
Well, it's twofold. Okay, twofold is my personal opinion on preseason game. They're meaningless games, really.
Yeah.
You got Jared Goff, you got Hawkinson, you got Swift, you got those guys right there.
They're your core.
They're the
with
core.
Williams.
They're the core.
Yeah.
And those are the guys that you have a lot of money invested in, a lot of time invested in. Do you really want to take a chance on something fluke happening?
True.
And then losing them for the season, and then I think the being cautious is the better route to go for them.
Yeah. Especially with Goff coming off a thumb injury that he had toward the end of last season.
Yeah.
Which those things tend to stick around for a while. And he did get a playoff win against Seattle, which was, out of nowhere. Nobody gave, he found out basically because of the other guy. Well, actually, no, he did not start. The other guy
got clobbered.
He got mollywopped. And McVay didn't have any other choice, and then he started. Then I was against Green Bay or something. It looked okay.
Yeah.
But 2 weeks removed from a thumb injury.
Just a lot of people. They're not high on him whatsoever. You know what? Let the guy play.
Yeah.
Let the guy play a game.
Zero expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that Dan Campbell has this team heading in the right direction. Do we still need more key personnel?
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Do I think that we have a higher ceiling now with Campbell than we did with Matt Patricia? Absolutely.
Who?
Because I said Matt Patricia, the old regime.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm sorry, the old regime.
Yes.
The ceiling is higher on Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes to they're starting to make the place look like it's an attractive place to come and play.
But it's also a big question mark. This is his first full-time gig. Holmes full-time general manager. So I think the two of them, kind of walking in the same footsteps as far as their seniority in the coaching and the front office realm. Interesting to see. They both have a lot of upside, and I think most Lions fans can agree. They're willing to say, okay, if you win 5-6, okay, we get it. Just improve on that. And this might be the what do you call that when in golf, get an extra shot?
Mulligan?
Yeah, this might be the mulligan season for the Lions. Take advantage of it. The over-under I saw was 5.5 wins for the lovable Leos, and I think they'll get 7-10. That's my prediction for the season.
Yeah,
the NFC North is
garbage. Besides Green Bay,
it's pretty bad. The old Aaron Rodgers looking like a homeless guy these days.
And Andy Dalton, they're saying Andy Dalton's going to be the starter, which I think is a huge mistake for them. But
well, I guess Fields looked a little rough last night.
Oh, did
9-19? Yeah, he got.
Speaking of rookies, Zach Wilson and his mom looked really good yesterday.
Yeah, 157, quarterback rating.
Yeah.
9-11, 128 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Looked good.
I'll say it. I'll eat crow if he comes. He plays for the Jets, and
That's going to be the biggest problem.
They don't have a whole
don't.
lot outside of him. And I don't. Another situation. New coach Robert Saleh. You don't know what you're going to get out of him. He's more of a defensive-minded kind of a coach. So I don't know. I don't trust the Jets. He may look good. It could be like a Justin Herbert situation where, the team was bad, but he looked really good. So it'll be interesting to see. So far in the first 2 weeks, he's shown no signs of, being afraid or that he's going to, shit the bed like I speculate he will. But we'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell.
Cool. All right. On to the next. Entertainment review.
Yes.
Entertainment review.
Yes.
I don't have it queued up.
You don't have it queued up.
I don't have it queued up.
Uh-oh. We need to do a little pre-show. Did you load it? Hey, there it is.
I did.
There it is. What's up with that? What's up? Oh, wrong show. Wrong show.
That is the wrong show.
This is the Rich and Tom Entertainment Review.
Yeah, Entertainment Review.
In this week's review, which we kind of hinted last week that we were going to do, but I hadn't seen it yet. Netflix new documentary, which has been out for about 2 weeks, I believe. The Malice at the Palace. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to give you my take, and then you can go and run with it. My take is this. Okay, I remember watching it live.
Oh, yeah.
I remember watching it live. That year, the Pacers were a freaking unbelievable. Actually, to be honest with you, they were great for a number of years.
Yeah.
They were great for a number of years.
They gave us fits in 2004.
And they definitely improved because they did the right thing. They wanted to win a championship for Reggie Miller.
They went and got Steven Jackson.
Ron Artest. He might have been the year before.
No, he was there. He was on the team. He had been on the team for a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
they had made a trade from Chicago, and he came to Chicago.
That's what it was. Yeah. So you got these guys getting a huge disagreement on the court. It spills out into the fans. Do I think the Detroit fans were dumb? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dumb.
Mm-hmm.
The guy throwing the launching the beer bottle at him. First of all,
John Green.
First of all,
it was a cup of ice.
So why would you go and lay down on a scorer's table? I don't get. But then now that I see that, and I kind of get the backstory on Ron Artest from this right here.
Absolutely,
he had a lot of
mental.
He was a head case,
anxiety.
He was a huge head case.
Yep.
Pressure. So that was like pretty much like the explosion that happened for him. So that happens, but the view and the gist I've got of the entire documentary is it was a gigantic Indiana Pacers wine fest. It was
100%.
Call the ambulance.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was Jermaine O'Neal's production company that put it out.
Was it really?
So there's your first indication that it was not going to be pro Piston.
Hey, what did Ron Artest change his name to?
Meta World Peace, which they talked about in the documentary. Meta in Buddhism is like clarity. It's like it's I don't know anything about Buddhism or anything like that. I know Buddhism, but that's a different subject. But it's like mental clarity, and he chose that because he lost his mind after that point, and he asked for a trade after the suspension. He asked for a trade. He was a coward, and he openly admitted he was a coward, and he regrets doing that, and he needed to find a place in his life to deal with his anxiety, deal with his depression, which it hadn't been working. And that's when he found Buddhism. And so that meta is like a buzzword for that.
And I didn't know that he had like his own psychiatrist traveling with the team where he had to meet. You know, I guess for me, I didn't realize that, you know, and I suffer with anxiety and stuff like that. So I don't think it's nearly on the level that he is on, but
No.
I mean, I do get bouts of anxiety, so I can kind of relate a little bit to that. But
Well, I think
the whole fight thing,
yeah.
and then the two dudes get on the court,
Oh.
and like one goes up, and he's like,
He
like,
squared him up.
he's like this or whatever, dude. You know, you're getting fists.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, you're getting fists.
So even the I Reggie Miller in the documentary, who was he was good good during the documentary. You know, he basically looked at the camera and he's like, why would he lay on the table? You just became a target. And good old John Green, which 1 in a million shot when you look at it, he was probably 25 feet, 30 feet away.
That was his hole-in-one shot.
Oh my gosh. And he just underhanded it. And the crazy thing was the dude jumps up and goes and runs and John Green's like, oh, over here. And the dude's partner got lambasted.
Oh yeah, he got tagged. He got tagged.
Got lambasted.
Yeah. You know, and that's just the thing. It's like it's like I don't get it. I just don't get how fans can. I mean, everybody has emotions towards sports.
Yeah.
A little bit later in the show, we're going to talk about emotions in sports, but everybody has an emotional tie to a sporting event. Everybody wants their team to succeed, or they want to elevate their team to the next.
Right.
But, and mind you, I've gone to a lot of hockey games. I've gone to a lot of football games. I've gone to a lot of baseball games, and not one time in my days of going to a game where I was so passionate enough to where I want to square up with somebody in the stands over something.
I know
it's like, listen, I come here, you know what? I tell you right now, I paid my money to sit in the seat. Mind you, I've had to sit behind some very unruly people. That's for damn sure.
There's been some situations in the fans between other fans.
Oh yeah.
But not fan player.
No. You know, like when I was in Toronto, I went opening weekend a couple of years ago in Toronto. Jacob and Ryan and myself, and we went as a family to Toronto to go see the opening series. It was the Yankees and the Blue Jays. So we're sitting out there and we're in right field. I'm a fan of right field baseball. Just to give you a heads up, almost everywhere I've sat has been right field, except for left field at Dodger Stadium. But big deal. But
table for one.
Yeah. So we're sitting there, and I got the two boys sitting next to me. These peckerheads behind me, they wouldn't shut up the entire game. They were belligerent.
Yankee fans, I'm assuming.
No. Blue Jay fans.
Oh, wow.
Belligerent.
They must have been
just absolutely tearing apart.
They were sauced
Aaron
up.
Judge.
They were all sauced up on the Rickards Red, I'm sure.
It's probably Steam Whistle because it's right across the street. But they were like all about getting on Aaron Judge's nerves. And he was just like
pre new teeth.
Oh yeah.
When he was actually,
Yeah. Yeah. And so they were going on, they were just ragging him. And it's bad when I think Ryan at the time was maybe 6, 7. He looks at me and goes, Dad, can they please shut up? And that's
I'm surprised he didn't turn around and tell him to shut up.
Oh, he wanted to. He kept turning around and we're like, he wanted nothing to do with it. And
he would do it today, I'm sure.
And funny enough, when we were at the game on Wednesday, we had some younger folk behind us, and every other word was F-bomb this, F-bomb that, F this, F
it's
that.
It's ridiculous.
And I'm like, I just turned around, I'm like, dude, I said, I got my 11-year-old kid. And mind you, it's not that he
Nothing
hasn't
new,
it's not that he hasn't heard it before.
It's just you're in public.
And it's not that he hasn't said it before, on accident. But it's like, guy, let's tone it down a little bit because everything was the F-bomb.
Yes.
So whatever.
But back to the documentary, and I agree with you. I think it was the Pacers maybe closure, because they were the best team in the NBA, going into that particular game, and they destroyed Detroit that game.
Oh, they were killing them.
Yeah, and so that single moment, find how the season would play out. what's his nuts, Jermaine O'Neal, who basically came to the rescue of Ron Artest in the fan on the court. He cold cocked the guy, and the fan said he sucker punched him. Jermaine O'Neal's, I missed him because he slipped, but there was contact. But he was facing a felony, and it was interesting to hear. And there was a lot of it, and they really premised it like, you haven't heard the whole story. There's more to what you've seen, and so they showed a lot of behind the scenes thing. And Oakland County showed up in the locker room like, we're taking you. You're going to jail. And he said, call my attorney. I am not going with you. And I don't think any plain Jane Joe citizen would ever get away with that. But
no.
But he was facing felonious charges, and the big situation that the Pacers were complaining about, and I absolutely agree with them 100%. Where was security? Where were the police officers? There was 2 police officers that were scheduled for that game that night.
I'd be interested to see how many there are at games now.
Oh, well, I mean, shit. Just go to Comerica, and there's 10 by each gate, and they're inside walking, or their presence is felt. I mean, obviously, times are a little bit different, but they were showing all these, CCTV shots, and it was free for all. You had these, ushers, which they're retirees, they're old white ladies, or
they're
old
not
white
going to stop.
men.
You're going to pull their purse out and start whipping people.
Stop! I'm going to blow a whistle. Okay,
security guard, stop, or I'll throw my keys at you.
Get the fuck out of my way. And so I do agree that was a big problem, and I think it highlighted how it got to be more blown up than it needed to. And you just take a fight in the stands, then turn into another fight. And then when they're trying to usher the players off, I mean, I realized it, but I forgot just the carnage that took place before they entered the tunnel. Popcorn, you name it, was thrown on these players. And as a fan, as a Piston fan, looking back, back then it was pretty funny to see it. How embarrassing.
Yeah.
I mean, what a black mark for, the Detroit fandom, and to look back at it and
yeah, but hold on. Here's the thing: is when it first came out, everybody was like saying it was the Pacers. They were like blaming the Pacers, like the thug mentality of the Pacers. Like, wait, hold on here. Let's back up a little bit. Let's back.
Oh, and the media ran wild with it.
Pump the brakes here.
The thug, using the thug, and they were a little. Steven Jackson was a little, unconventional. Ron Artest is unconventional, but I mean, those guys were like schoolyard players. They were, street ballers, and that was their game, and it worked for them. Just like the bad boys, they were street brawlers, and that was what worked for them. But all in all, I know before I seen it, there was a lot of backlash from a lot of the local sports programs around here that it makes Detroit look bad. Yeah, it does, and it's deserved. But I liked it. It was good. It was entertaining. I would have liked to have seen more than Big Ben part of it, because he is the only player from the Pistons side that was appearing on the documentary. So it was 99.5% one-sided to the Pacers, and it was more or less their perspective of it.
All right, so if you had to pick, say, besides the Malice at the Palace, if you had to pick just one other incident to happen between a professional player and a fan, which one would it be?
Well, I was doing a little research earlier today about some of the most infamous player fan altercations. There was a lot of them, and here's one where it tends to. You have a line. I don't think you cross that line when it comes to the personal lives of some of these players. Yes, their life is out there. Yes, they're millionaires. Yes. But when you start poking fun about a player's wife having a miscarriage, you're setting yourself up for what happened to this player in this fan in '95. Vernon Maxwell used to be a guard for the Houston Rockets. His wife just miscarried, and this piece of shit fan starts taunting him about his wife's miscarriage, and he snapped, and he went into the crowd and he cold cocked him, rightfully so. There's where the fans need to know there's a line.
If you can, my personal opinion, you can, if you want to be that guy. I mean, I'm not a person that's going to go and heckle somebody.
Heckle's part of the game. That's crossing it.
But exactly, like at what point does that line be drawn in the sand? Be like, okay, look, there's things that are off limits. Families off limits.
Sure.
Kids are off limits.
Sure.
But if you're going to heckle somebody, how come about their playing? The
field? you want to talk about me, on the court, the ice, field, whatever the situation may be. Hey, that's part of being a professional athlete. You have to have thick skin.
You got to tune it out too.
Absolutely. And for the most part, I think a vast majority of the athletes kind of just chuckle on. They fuel off. They get a little, motivated by some of the things that hence the fan heckling old Chicklet Aaron Judge. But
so there was at the game at give me a second here to think about it. The Cleveland game we went to. So Straw was playing center field. So there was a girl that was heckling him all game. I mean, I'm talking like heckling him.
She was giving him the business.
Yeah, but I mean, it was. I'm not even gonna say it wasn't like anything. It wasn't negative.
But to hear it from a female fan,
but from a female. So,
and that's not a sexist comment. That's just you don't normally hear.
So, and I'll say it right now. It don't matter to me what she was saying, but it was funny because my kids are right there. But again, kids are caught in there. So she was screaming at the top of her line, "Hey, Straw, left hand for ass, right hand for titties."
I've been seeing a lot of that.
He's a titty guy. He's a titty guy.
Yeah. Well, I guess.
And she kept doing this to him.
I guess with the name of Straw, you might be a little inept in the other department that might not make you like that ass, if you know what I mean. That bootyism.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But here's one. I'll give you a bonus one. It goes to show you times are very different these days. This player would have never played ever again, even though he was probably one of the greatest hitters of all time. Ty Cobb, back in 1912, fans heckling him. He crawls up into the stands, knocks the dude out. He's handicapped. Knocks him out. He's in a wheelchair, and he cold cocks him. So he gets fined $50, which in 1912, that probably was worth $100,000, maybe more.
Yeah.
And he gets suspended indefinitely, which I was reading the article. It was funny that the suspension lasted one game because they had to bring in college kids. And what did they say? They brought in college kids and sandlot players to fill his spot, and they got beat bad. So the players who basically hated Ty Cobb because he was an asshole, they went on strike. Said, we're not playing again until Ty's back. So the league said, okay, just pay the fine. And so he paid the fine, and that was it. One game suspension for knocking the shit out of a handicapped heckling fan.
Damn.
Boy, has time. Just Dr. Jack Morris says times have changed.
They have changed.
People have to be very, very careful.
So mine would be mine would be, I want to say it was in Philadelphia at the time, and it's hockey related. And the time that Ty Domi got into it with a fan or whatever and got up on top of the glass, and the glass fell over.
And I had that video. I meant to send it to you.
Yeah, so that was probably my favorite one.
But Domi started it. He was taking an water bottle and squeezing it, to the fans behind the ice. And
oh yeah, he kept
he was starting it. And I remember watching the video, and the glass caved in, and Domi's like, ain't this about a bitch? He's like, all right, well, fuck it. I'm going to just start. I'm going to hit him. He just fair game.
Doing business.
That's awesome.
All right. So our next segment we have going on was actually a request from somebody who watches the show. And, again, I'm not a big fantasy football guy. But I mean, I do know fantasy sports. I'm not, let's just say I know I'm not active in it because it's just really not not my thing.
Yeah.
But I can tell you who's a good quarterback,
Sure.
who's not a good quarterback.
Sure.
So today, in light of DJ wanting to know if we would start talking about this.
Not the entrepreneur. Not the entrepreneur.
No.
Not the entrepreneur. Okay.
Just
entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Not the entrepreneur.
Not that guy.
Okay. Not that guy.
But yeah, so he was just saying, talk about like fantasy football and stuff like that. So we're just going to kind of break down, our top 5 that we have listed up there for, quarterbacks. So
yeah, I was sitting here today brainstorming, like, because I agree with the season about to kick into gear here in the next 3 weeks. Fantasy football's hot. It's a big thing. Everyone.
We were actually guests on a college football because college football
RiverCity-Media
on RiverCity-Media. Yeah,
and they went on a marathon 3+ hours.
Yeah, there's no way I could do that. There's no way I could.
No way. But I was like, do we dedicate a whole show to it, or how we make this work? And it just kind of come to me like, you know what? Let each show, let's break down a different position, and then that'll lead up into the start of the season. So today, like Rich said, we're gonna give the top 5 fantasy quarterbacks in the NFL. And again, we do want to thank Derek Jaspa for the recommendation, and I hope you enjoy this new segment. So with that being said, number 5, Justin Herbert.
I agree. I agree with you on that because I think he's going to carry the momentum he had from last year into this year. A little bit different of a setup, new coach.
Yep. And that's the one thing that you kind of say is it going to hinder him a little bit. I was not a big fan of him coming out of college. I thought he was very overrated in college. I think overhyped, maybe not overrated, but a little bit overhyped.
Do you think you were reserved on it because he was an Oregon quarterback? I mean, let's look at it. Marcus Mariota
and Joey Harrington. Maybe a little bit, but even in his sophomore season, he was a George Jackson September Heisman, candidate. And I don't think he ever really amounted, but he did have a huge Rose Bowl win in his senior year. Mm-hmm. So he definitely went into the league with some momentum, but I didn't have a lot of faith in him. He shut me up really quick with just his ability to perform. So I think he's going to have huge numbers. I see him in some charts at number 7, and then I seen him in the top 5, in the top 5. So I think number 5 definitely is a good fit for him.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yep.
All right, so number 4 we got on the list. We got Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers 4th on the list. Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting to see how he does this year because he had a very, very busy offseason, let's just say, with the speculations of whether he was coming back to Green Bay or not, whether he wanted to be traded, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll see how that goes.
Aaron Rodgers is one that has always thrived on the chip. Chip on your shoulder. Last year they draft Jordan Love, which was very interesting for them to move up to draft a quarterback when they clearly had their quarterback instead of addressing a quarterback needs.
Yeah, I agree.
But so having that chip, even though he'll say it was a giant chip on his shoulder, and he went out and won the MVP, and took him to the NFC Championship, back-to-back 13-3 seasons. So I think that his relationship struggles with Gutagoo, whatever the hell the GM's name, and say what you want. Matt LaFleur, I don't think they're fans of each other. I think they both are very competitive people. And I think he's going to go out and he's going to prove that the Packers should have never messed with him. And pretty much he's going to put up big numbers this year.
Yeah. So what I'm going to ask you to do right now is I'm going to ask you to go and you got to turn that TV off back behind us. It says live on the screen. Sorry, we got to turn the TV off in the background because we don't want to get kicked off because we do have some live sports going on behind us. And last time we were doing it, we got the old boot off of YouTube and everything like that. Aaron Rodgers, yes, he's going to be definitely somebody who we're going to keep a real close eye on. You know, and I feel kind of bad for him because after this past season, they went in the draft and they still didn't even bother to get him any help. So he'll be back in a second. Is he back?
Yeah.
He's
so
back.
yeah, they did not address. Well, they did. They drafted a receiver, which is I think in the second round. But so it'll be interesting, definitely, to see how he's going to. Clearly, they're gonna win the NFC North. News flash, that is not breaking news. They're gonna steamroll the NFC North. But so number 3, a lot of people had him as high as 2, and as low as like 4 or 5. But I think Lamar Jackson is a perfect fit for number 3. And I say this because after his oops, I got my pants moment in Cleveland.
Why are you always checking out his ass?
Oh no! Well, you saw the video.
Yeah, I know.
He was like, "Get the fuck out of my way! I gotta see my pants."
Well, I know somebody who's got a little walk like that too.
Did you like that video I sent you today?
The video was funny today. I will say it was funny.
So, anyways, he's not the greatest passer, but he has developed into a pretty nice throwing quarterback. His style is ugly as all get up, but when you have Mark Andrews and you have Hollywood Brown, where in that particular play, all he did was just launch it, and Hollywood Brown is the fastest player, wide receiver wise in the NFL. He just went and got it. So his ability to now throw the ball, along with his athleticism, what he can do, with his feet, make him a huge fantasy get.
And I think in the first, and I agree with you on the number 3 with Lamar Jackson. I think what's changed about his game the most is when he first came in the league, I think his presence in the pocket, he was very uncomfortable. Well, and I think over the years, he's learned how to manage to get that pocket presence. And I think he finally realized that once he establishes that he has a pocket presence, and he can stand in the pocket, that the coverage is a little bit different on him.
Well, he never had to read a defense. He would basically just read the linebacker and then the safety. That's just kind of fundamental things. But as far as like reading what their setup is and whatnot, and here's the other thing: he went into the NFL. He was throwing the football. He had his fingers on all the laces, so he was throwing ducks. Just because most people will hold the ball. Maybe the last 2 or 3 laces will be in these fingers, and the ball, the end of the ball will roll off their finger. He was throwing the ball, flicking the wrist, and it's a dead duck for the most part. So the coaching staff, the good Harbaugh, taught him basically the right. It's sad to say that an NFL quarterback, you had to teach him how to hold a football and how to successfully throw a football. That just shows you how scary he was with his feet. When he was at Louisville, his ability to run. Yeah. So in the NFL, that's a one-trick pony when you're a running quarterback. The league will figure you out. You have to come up with another gadget, we'll say, now, to make it work.
Now, would you compare him on his skill set and everything like that to like a Michael Vick or a Steve McNair type? or
Well, those are two different players.
Randall Cunningham.
McNair and Cunningham are on the same level. I think his ability to scramble, his so light on his feet. Lamar Jackson and Michael Vick are in the same category. I think Vick clearly could throw the football. He would drop back and throw a 50, 60-yard bomb. So that was
he'd also run around the backfield for about 100 yards before throwing the ball.
Sure. So their running talent, their running ability, sure, they're in the same level. But as far as like Steve McNair and Randall Cunningham, big arm, run over you or jump over you.
Randall Cunningham, not QB1 from RiverCity-Media.
Right. This is true.
Yeah.
Former
the
Philadelphia Eagle, Minnesota Viking.
Yeah.
I think those are the teams he played for.
Yeah. And so for number 2, Josh Allen.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they love him. They love him to death. I think he's great.
I think he's fantastic.
I think he really changed the perspective of a lot of people this past season. You know, he was a quarterback that came out of a very small school,
Wyoming.
Yep, in the WAC,
and
he's legit. I mean, he is a legit quarterback, and
he's a throwback.
He is.
He is a throwback in a sense that he leaves it all on the line. He can throw a deep ball. He can manage the field, and he can run. He's very, very athletic. He can run. That's the one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize, is his ability on his feet, his ability to take off when he needs to. I mean, ask the Vikings in his rookie season. You know, they went in, I think Buffalo was like a 3-touchdown underdog, and Josh Allen, I mean, they were down by 28 points by half, Minnesota. And it was his running ability that won that game for him. And
now, what throwback quarterback would you say he's kind of a model after?
Maybe a Dan Marino, and with his ability to throw it, or a John Elway. Those guys clearly weren't bringing down the house with their feet.
Speed, they weren't speed demons.
But leadership, size, just the way that he can throw the ball. When you have Steph Diggs on the end, I mean, they've got they're gonna walk away with the AFC East, no problem. So you know who he reminds me of. I mean, I'm not going to say it's an exact replica or anything like that, and I'm not going to say it's the exact similar style, but a quarterback that left it all out, guy who could run a little bit and he could throw. Steve Young. Steve Young. Absolutely. And after who you were going to say, I was going to mention, I think aside of one's a lefty and the other's a righty, which if that's on the screen, I think we're reversed. But yes, absolutely. Steve Young, who would run through guys, definitely could throw the ball. The infamous touchdown to Terrell in the AFC wildcard round, where Terrell Owens, before he, his head got real big, caught the pass and just got sandwiched at the goal line. And they think they were playing the Cowboys.
They might have been.
And caught the ball, held onto it, game-winning touchdown. He comes up and he's in tears. But just his ability to thread the needle. But yeah, I absolutely 100% I agree with you on that one.
All right, so who we got for number 1?
Well, this is the ultimate no-brainer. Here's a guy who is, you put him on the football field and all he's done is win. He will eat you alive with his arm. He will eat you alive with his running ability. And as long as he's behind center, I don't think there will be another clear-cut MVP favorite anytime he plays, and that is, yes, drum roll, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Also a draft pick of the Detroit Tigers.
This is true.
That is true.
This is true. What did we read on the Tigers had more Super Bowl winning draft picks than the Lions?
Yeah.
So,
but with that, I mean, he's got it all. He's all the intangibles. you desire in a quarterback. A field general is what he is.
His football IQ, and the play is never over with him.
Let me ask you this question. I know you used to get pretty pissed off about the shovel pass and the sidearm passes by Stafford, but when Mahomes does it, you seem to not really care much about it.
I didn't get. I didn't get.
Can't get your tongue, huh?
I didn't get mad in the sense of the shovel pass or the side. This Stafford sidearm was a gimmick. That was a gimmick. But Mahomes, here's a little tidbit. It works. It's successful, and he could be rolling left, and I'm just gonna throw it left-handed like he did a couple years ago. Or he's rolling left and he throws completely against his body to the other side of the field. I mean, it's just the guy
throws it across the field.
It's just
throws it way across the field.
And of course, the Chiefs are loaded. They have a lot of talent around, which helps. We have Travis Kelce, who did you see this week? He shaved his beard. And he got ripped on Twitter for it.
I'm gonna go and check that out.
So he gets ripped on Twitter like, Kelce, never do that again. Kind of like, when I shaved my face, I had everyone telling me don't.
Or when I shave my face and I get made fun of.
So he came out with a new profile picture. He took a selfie and then he took a Sharpie and he penciled in a beard. He goes, look, I just grew my beard back for you. but he's he's probably the best tight end, not named George Kittle in the NFL, and having that piece security blanket makes him that much better. So definitely Patrick Mahomes, and until he shows that he can't do it, he's the best quarterback in the NFL.
All right, cool. That was a good summary. So I guess next show we will talk running backs.
Yeah, we'll do running backs.
We'll do running backs next show. Yeah, I think running
and
backs.
And anybody out there, give us your opinion.
Chime in.
Talk about our top 5. Let's hear your top 5. And for our next show, we're going to, like Rich said, we're going to do running backs. So let's give us your top 5 running backs, and we'll talk about it next show.
What? Is it that time again? What?
It's that time again.
So we got 2 what. See, we didn't really get to the what's on the last show.
No.
So this is a carryover. So
one of them had a kind of a local feel, but it didn't happen here.
Yeah. So, what I want to do is I want to talk about this one. So on Thursday, I went to watch my son's baseball practice, and at the baseball practice, one of the diamonds, there were some folks there, and there was a lot of them. They were playing this game they call cricket.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Where in the hell was practice at?
Novi. Yeah. Oh, it was. So
that's interesting.
So I was talking about, these guys had jerseys. They had the gloves. These were legit cricket players.
Wow.
I watched a little bit of it. I'd like to learn I'll never play it, but I wouldn't mind learning like the rules of the game, so that way I can be like, okay, so that's a point, or that's a point, and that's a point. So yeah. I found this video of cricket, and I just thought this was absolutely hysterical. So let me cue it up here.
It's on a poster.
Wow. And the woolies. He's bad.
Oh, you're right, Darren. You look like you're in as much pain as he is.
The dude that hit the beanbags.
The woolies.
The woolies. Oh, happens again.
Absolute nightmare.
Same guy.
He's done it to himself.
Twice.
You said ball the same ball.
He's bought the same ball. It's a rinse and repeat.
This time I gotta laugh at this.
I've never seen this in the 25 years of being around this game. Even
I want to laugh. Look at that. He's like,
let's have a look at some of the interception points here for Alex Hales.
Out.
I mean, out, and yeah. I don't think he got anywhere near that.
The classic of that video was the woman saying, "Oh, it is in the woolies." Like,
in the woolies.
Oh Yeah, that definitely would be.
I guess
Are
you're gonna
they-
call it the Woolies.
Are they
but
not wearing a cup?
it sounded like he hit a cup.
And that ball is hard.
You know what? That ball's like a lacrosse ball.
Yeah, I mean that thing is. That would inflict some damage.
But I will tell you this right now. So I watched a little bit of it, and it looks pretty cool. And I mean, it does. It looks pretty cool.
We're gonna have to pull up the rule book because it just like rugby. I don't know. I don't understand how they score in rugby.
We tried to learn Australian football from Nick, but it was kind of tough.
Yeah, we'll have to get some more time and have him on the show again so he can school us in the art of Australian. Rules football. Don't call it rugby.
All right, so the next one, Jesus, Pete, I tell you, we talked about this earlier today. Why? What are with people?
And here's a
stands?
fan on fan situation.
I mean, like seriously, like what the fuck is on with these people? So let me pull the next one up. This is an actual what
place Saturday night?
Yeah,
in Pittsburgh.
Shut up! She told you to shut up.
Say goodnight to the bad man.
Hold on, and down goes Frazier.
They do knock out.
So Karen was yelling at. I love that. Yeah. She did too.
Somebody get his glasses.
The game just about over too. Like I don't get it. I don't get it.
Well, you take a situation here. Here's Karen, who
protected her husband.
Clearly, I mean,
well,
not
no.
First,
well, see, I want to say that it was between that guy. The two guys were getting into it. I think because we don't see the whole video.
No.
This is just my speculation on what it is. So then the two dudes are probably Jaw jacking back and
perhaps.
Okay? She probably was like
pissed off that he was giving into it.
No,
going at it with him.
Oh yeah, she's probably like, hey, hey, sit down and shut up, because you heard him say she told you to be quiet, and then she turns around and tells him to shut up, and then slaps him.
Well, here's my thing,
and I'm not a fan of a man hitting a woman.
Absolutely not.
But if a woman wants to act like a man,
well,
you better be ready to get treated like a man.
I think that definitely is the situation here.
And I'm not one to hit women.
No, fuck no.
But I mean, realistically, if a woman slapped me like that, I wouldn't hit her back. Now, if she like closed fist, cold cocked me, she might have something coming.
Well, I mean, you get alcohol in the mix.
That's why I said might have something coming.
So my thing is the way she turned around and said to him, sit down and shut the fuck up. It clearly tells me that she's said that phrase to him in the past.
That wasn't something new.
That was not a first time situation.
She's probably like, baby, bitch, baby, get in the corner.
And old boy says, she just told you to sit down, shut the fuck up.
He's like, hey, baby, look, hey, she just told you that. And then she turned around and she looked at him,
told him to shut the fuck up,
exactly,
and then
slapped him.
Open fist slap. And
see the open fist slap. I don't think I would hit somebody back. Now if it was closed fist,
right?
You remember seeing that guy who was the bus driver in Cleveland when that woman started jaw jacking the driver?
No.
And then she slapped the driver?
Mm-mm.
Dude, that guy got up and uppercut her so hard it knocked her through the door and out.
Well, I think a lot of people will, maybe some women will do some things, knowing that generally a man's not going to react in the same manner. But in this situation, he struck a nerve. And then, the boyfriend, husband, whoever he was, sprung into action to protect his woman. And we'll just see that he got shut up pretty quick.
Yeah,
he got knocked the fuck out. So that was definitely. But situation, you got alcohol. It's Saturday night in Pittsburgh. How long have they been drinking?
Oh yeah.
all day.
Oh yeah. I'm sure.
All day.
Oh, I'm sure.
And it's hot. It was probably, 80, 85 degrees, humidity.
Yeah.
So temperatures are flaring, and just it's the recipe for disaster. So that dude will know to never mess with another fan. I think he learned his lesson. That's for sure. Oh, either that, or he'll never go to a game with Karen again.
Yeah, definitely not messing with that. So on that note, it looks like we're up against time and we're done. But what we want to do is we want to let everybody know that next weekend from probably noon to 2, noon to 3, out at the butchery in Sylvan Lake. We've done a show there from there once before. Sandwich-a-Palooza 4, Burger Day.
Yep.
They said Sandwich-a-Palooza 5 is going to be all about the sausage and hot dogs.
Oh.
So, question for everybody to think about.
Sure.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Why is it? Why not?
Because it's in a bun.
Yeah, but it's between 2 pieces of bread.
It's not. A bun is not two pieces.
What if the bun falls apart?
That's a janky-ass bun.
Oh, you saying? No. We're not going to get into this.
It is not a sandwich. A hot dog is a hot dog.
It's a sandwich.
It is not.
Now, what if you cut this hot dog in half?
Is a hot dog cut in half?
No.
Yep. No, it's not a sandwich.
It's a sandwich. Anyway, so
it's
we
not
got
a sandwich.
So we got that on Sunday.
Saturday
the 28th.
Yep.
May or may not be broadcasting from there.
Up in the air.
Getting a lot of push. Well, I was kind of like hoping like I'd go there and sit there and have a burger and enjoy the fellowship.
Yeah, meet some of the fellow Twitter peeps.
Yeah, and I think that's the route I'm going to probably go.
Discuss who makes the best ketchup.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah.
And the big question is with the hot dog show is ketchup, yes or no on a hot dog? Absolutely not.
Now let me ask you this.
On a hot dog.
Let me ask you, what if you have mustard, ketchup, and relish?
Mustard and relish, yes. Ketchup,
yeah, but see,
go back to Canada.
No, but here's the thing: is so if you have mustard and relish on, you got 2 things with quite a bit of vinegar on there. You got to sweeten it up a little bit, and that's going to be your ketchup.
Not for me.
All right,
not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent.
I hear you. So anyway, we out.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Easy Speak at Speakeasy 330. You can catch us every week at ilogicmedia.com, Apple, and Spotify. Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Easy Speak Cast for the latest and up-to-date news. Cheers.